Hey there, ZenFit tribe. Welcome to cool down number 2. So you finished with your workout. Now time to cool the body down a little bit. This is going to be to bring the heart rate down, try to bring the nervous system down, bring the sympathetic nervous system down, which is your fight or flight, and try to bring your rest and restoration nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system up a little bit. So what we're going to start out with today is going to be it's going to be 10 minutes total. We're going to do a lot of wrist stuff and some shoulder stuff in the beginning, and then we'll end up with the hips and opening up the hips at the end. So let's go ahead. We're going to start our clocks. You will need a dowel rod to administer some dislocations, so some shoulder dislocations. And I think we're going to be good. You'll need a wall or a couch or a bench or something for the hip flexor stretch eventually as well, but that's all you're going to need for today. So we'll start out with wrist flexion. So how we're going to do the wrist flexion, we're going to start in a few seconds here. Just let me demo this. Your fingers are going to be on the ground, your hands are on the ground, and your index fingers are going to be parallel to each other, and all you're going to do is put enough weight over top of your hands where you have some pressure from your shoulders pushing down through your hands. Now, what I want you to do is to press through these knuckles right here. You're going to actually press down as hard as you can. And when you do that, you're going to drive pressure through your wrist and it's going to straighten your wrist. Yet your fingers are going to stay on the ground like this. So it would look like this. As I press down through those knuckles, which are these knuckles right here, the punching knuckles that would make contact, my wrist straightens and it opens up all the tissue in the palm of the hand and a little bit in the wrist here. So it's very good to open up the wrist a little bit and get all this elongation. Something I do as a massage therapist. I tell people who use a lot of repetitive motions with gripping, do this one. So this is all we're going to start doing. And then the opposite of this is going to be hands down. And we're going to press through the punching knuckles again and bring the wrist up. And this is the opposite motion, working on the extension aspect. So now you're pressing down through the punching knuckles like this, but as you do that, it straightens the wrist. Okay? And then we'll just do a static hold for the 3rd minute like this. Okay? So here we go. I don't know why I'm standing up, but here we go in 3, 2, 1. And begin. So nice and easy here. Again, we're going to mind our breath quite a bit. So I'm leaning out over top of my knuckles so I have some pressure there, but I'm also rocking back a bit so I'm not overwhelming my tissue. The hands and the fingertips need a long time to build up the proper stress response to adaptation, which means you can't go, normally anyway, and take the fingers and do a lot of rock climbing or a lot of gripping or a lot of twisting with your hands day after day after day after day, hundreds of thousands of repetitions, and expect a breakdown to not come. The hands aren't meant to do that. They're meant to build up a progression over time, a long period of time. We have 10 seconds left and then we go to the extension. So you have to be mindful of doing too much too early with the fingertips. And that goes with just elongating the tissue at all. So we have to be careful with this. And I also like to press down through the wrist at this point, which is going to be very difficult for a lot of you. I have found that this is difficult for people to be able to press into the wrist like this. So you have to take yourself very slowly to the place where you feel the discomfort and then press back up again. Slowly, discomfort, press back up again. For me, I can't put my full body weight on my wrists, but I can push them at 90 degrees. But because I can't put my body weight, I'm not quite there yet. I'd like to be able to do push-ups there, to be honest with you. It's fairly healthy to be able to operate at all of these places where physics and physiological advantages say we shouldn't be operating. You should be able to operate there for a short period of time. 10 seconds, and then we go to a static hold. We go to a static flexor hold, which is going to be the flexors of the arm. Okay, so fingertips back, facing your waist, and then we're just going to lean back a little bit. So I'm feeling that all down the bottom third of my forearm. which is perfect. It's exactly where I want to feel it. And if you want to engage this a little bit more, what you do is you push with your pressure inside the outside and the inside, respectively. Push. See that? Straightens my elbow out. So by having that, really helps to open up the shoulders as well. So I always want to work on this as much as possible. We got 15 seconds, and then we're going to go to 2 minutes of dislocations. 2 minutes of dislocations with the dowel rod or your PVC pipe. And I'm going to offer the second minute. Here we go. I'm going to offer you a variation on the second minute. And that variation is going to be, I'll just stay down here. That variation is actually going to be lying down on the ground. You're going to lie face down on the ground and be able to do these dislocates. So I'll show you how to do that. At the 1 minute mark, I'll do it, and you can go ahead and do it with me if you'd like. It's a beginner, or it's not a beginner, it's a kind of an intermediate to fairly advanced move, just because the spine is now horizontal. And it's easy to get, well, relatively easy to get the dislocates to work in the vertical plane as I'm standing. It can be more difficult to get it to work, to get the musculature and the action to happen from a vertical plane. So you have to be careful with it, but it's possible. And I like to go nice and slow as I get my fingers and my hands closer together, just so I can really feel my shoulders opening. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and transition to the ground here, show you what this looks like. You can go ahead and do it if you'd like. My nose is up. My chest is slightly raised, but not a lot. I'm still pushing away through the elbows, but there's a bit of strength now that my shoulder girdle has to access to pull it from this position here with a straight arm so that I'm not bending. So that's where this comes in. And then what you can do is also put a 5 pound or a 2.5 pound or a 7 or 10 pound weight on your dowel rod and use that as resistance to get better at this. We have 20 seconds, and then we're going into a wide leg forward flexion, which is a hold. Good job, guys. And I'm going to go ahead and start transitioning. Go ahead and do that too. Wide leg forward flexion. It's a big, long, parallel feet. Knees are slightly bent. We're bringing our shins forward and in, so they're going in this 45-degree angle, trying to gather up the carpet. And then all I'm going to do is bend here at the hip, push my knees back, or push my hips back, I could go airplane wings. I could go straight out ahead. I'm just going to let my shoulders hang. This feels good to me. 30 seconds. And then we're going to do the hip flexor stretch on the wall for a minute apiece on each side. And then end with a pigeon. Remember, our legs are trying to gather up this carpet here so we can really access a good, strong stretch in the middle of our adductors here. 10 seconds, and then we got it right leg on the wall. 2, 1. Right leg on the wall, left leg forward. Remember, we're going to push that right foot into the wall or into the couch, into your box, into your stool, whatever, as we pull forward with the front foot, and we push our hip forward as well. And notice I'm not arching here through the back. I'm just nice and tall. So I do come forward slightly, but I also want to stretch and feel the front of this hip opening up like someone's tearing my skin off. That's what I want to feel, because that's what's inside. That's what the fascia is doing. And if you don't elongate and open up the fascia, you're going to have very big problems later on in life when everything starts to tighten up and dehydration becomes an issue. And as you age, restriction, everything wants to restrict. Most old people restrict, become shorter, more compact, and less open, elongated. We have to be combating this as we get older. This is the mission of ZenFit, is to create fitness with age. And that means wisdom, fitness and wisdom too. Because as we age, we are not just physical beings. You know, we're mental beings, emotional beings, spiritual beings. Being fit when you age is about understanding the full totality of what this life could be for you. Not just the movement life, the life inside of the body, but life without the body. Because that's coming soon. We have to get ready for that. So 20 seconds here, and then we're going to go to a pigeon stretch on the ground. We'll do right leg first, then left, and then we're done. So 2 minutes, 15 seconds left. Really opening up this left leg. Good job. Doing well. All right, right leg down. Here we go. I'm going to try to open this up. Now I want to turn, get my whole body. The energy goes straight through my knee, through my femur, out the back, and I'm trying to really turn that way. So I can feel this stretch deep in my right hip. My right leg's on the ground, my right hip is where I should feel it. My right hip. Good job. You're doing a really good job. Just keep it up. Keep breathing. Keep working on the breath, bringing it down. Maybe listen to some really relaxing music would be a good thing to do here too. For sure. Doing good. Just focusing on relaxing the body, closing it down for the day from the workout. All right, left. Last minute here. Hopefully you had a good workout and it served you well. And now you can go on to your day and serve it well. Show up for things, show up for people, show up for yourself. That means be present. Sometimes the things that are asked of us in the moments with other people are just to be present, to understand what exactly we could offer. And not 20 seconds here. And not sometimes show up with an agenda like, I'm going to show this person what they need. Sometimes it's just listening what they need and showing up and offering them what they need. And they'll tell you in the moment what they need. We've got 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right. Another cool down in the books, another workout in the books, another day in the books. Here, good job, way to serve yourself, way to give yourself the physical fitness that you needed, hopefully a mental fitness as well, and maybe even a little bit of emotional and spiritual fitness. So go off into the day, make a difference today, and we'll see you next time for either a warm-up or a cool down. Peace out.